Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Courtney. Today I have got two Dollar Tree DIYs using wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. So stay tuned to see how I made these.
Call me out, why don't you laugh?
For the first project, I'm going to be using one of these pumpkin forms from Dollar Tree and these two things of fabric that I picked up quite a while ago. Both of them came from Hobby Lobby. And what I'm going to do is basically just kind of fold the fabric in half and then fold it in half again. And then I'm going to stick it on my cutting board. And then what I'm going to end up doing is cutting strips of fabric that are about 3/4 of an inch wide. And then from there, I'm basically just going to fold it over again, until I get little strips of fabric that are about 3 inches long. So your little pieces of fabric will end up being 3/4 of an inch wide and 3 inches long. I ended up cutting about 10 strips of fabric for each color. So 10 strips of orange and 10 strips of the black and white.
Lift me up higher, above the clouds, won't you love? When the scenery is right, go right in. I wanna fall deep within. Don't leave me hanging just 'cause I'm too proud. Whisper away my outdated doubts. Somebody do me the courtesy, dress me down.
All right, and this is where the fun begins. So now all I'm gonna do is alternating on each little ridge of this pumpkin, I'm gonna do stripes basically. So this first one, I'm just gonna take the orange fabric, tie it one time. I'm not double knotting it. I'm not looping it through. I'm just doing one quick little tie and moving on. I'm not worrying about the fray because I kind of wanted it to have that little rustic look. And I'm telling you, just find a movie on Netflix or something. I did this over several days because it is very time consuming. I'm not gonna lie, it is very time consuming. So I'm gonna do all the stripes and then I will show you how I finish off the stem and the other parts of the pumpkin form that is exposed. All right, and here is what it looks like when all the stripes are done. And as you'll notice, on the top of the pumpkin form and the bottom between the little rows, I'm zooming in here, they're bare. So right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on covering the stem. And what I did was just fray one end of the fabric, which my vision was to kind of overlap it like I do with the candy canes, and the fray would kind of show, but the way I ended up wrapping it, you really couldn't even tell. So honestly, this is kind of an unnecessary step to fray the fabric unless you're very conscious about how you wrap it around the stem. And all I'm gonna do is just take this black fabric and I'm just gonna glue it to the top, and working from the top to the bottom of the stem, I'm just gonna wrap it around, wrap it around, wrap it around until I get it as kind of full and puffy as I want.
I'm not that old yet, I'm far too young to not stand my ground. But my ways are mine and I don't wanna change, not even for love. Now take back all them hard words. I'm a grown woman with confidence and sense.
This stem has been secured with hot glue, and now I'm going to work on these little bare spots between the rows. And what I decided to use was just some of the same orange fabric. And again, I'm just using the same technique. I'm just tying it one time and moving on. Now, I will say what makes this project so time consuming is I think the length of the fabric. With it being 3 inches, it is a little tricky to get your fingers in there because it does kind of fray and then you're pulling strings. So if you want to avoid that, you could make your strips of fabric longer. But if you're going to put the ghost in there, you may not be able to see it as well. So it's up to you. But anyway, I'm just going to do this on the top and the bottom, and then my pumpkin will be completely filled in. So I messed around with some of these wood cutouts from Dollar Tree, and I ended up deciding to use this ghost. And what I'm showing you here is his eyes. I didn't like his creepy evil eyes, so on the one on the right, you can kind of see I already cut out part of it. I'm trying to open up his eyes a little bit more to make him a little more friendly looking, and then I am going to end up cutting off his teeth. And then what I'm going to do is take some of the Waverly white chalk paint and paint one coat of the paint over the ghost.
Full force tiger, call me out with them blue-green eyes. You know I'm a fighter, the good kind, not running with lines. And when the night is
While my ghost is drying, I'm going to take these wooden letters from Dollar Tree and I am going to paint them with some of the Waverly ink chalk paint.
like you and I will be soon. Then we won't have nothing on us. No, we'll be howling, jumping up and down, howling, crazy fools.
Now taking this very ridiculous looking brush right here, I am going to use that to distress my little ghost, and I'm just going to go in and kind of brush along the edges of the ghost, inside the eyes, inside the mouth, and the corners, just to kind of distress him a little bit. And then once he's all distressed, I'm going to take the wooden letters and I'm just going to hot glue those down on top of the ghost.
In the middle, meet me in the middle. I'm a riddle, figure me out. We'll dry needles, we'll drink morning dew. We'll be lovers, me you. 'Cause we're crazy fools, feeling young. We're crazy fools, feeling young. We're crazy fools, feeling young. Oh, we're crazy fools, feeling young.
Now I'm gonna go ahead and secure my ghost inside of my little pumpkin, and he actually wedges in there really, really nicely. So what I ended up doing was putting some hot glue up at the top, and then I put a little bit down on the bottom, but he kind of sits inside of it really, really securely. So I was very happy with that. And then once the ghost is secure, I'm gonna take a strand of the fairy lights from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to wrap it around the outside of the pumpkin for him. The lights are all wrapped, and then to secure the battery pack, I just took some electrical tape that I had purchased from Dollar Tree quite a while ago and just taped it to the back of the ghost. And then the last thing I ended up doing was just taking some twine, and I made a little bit of a hanger and attached it to the back of the stem, and then put a piece of fabric over the twine so that it was on there securely. Here it is hanging on my front door. I did add 2 little black spiders to it, but I am not going to leave this outside. I'm only going to put it out for Halloween. It will be hanging inside my house until that point. If you do decide to leave it outside all the time, go ahead and Scotch guard that fabric so that it is protected, but it turned out really cute and I really, really like it. All right, now let's get into the second DIY. All right, for the second project, you're gonna need 4 of these witch hats from Dollar Tree and some wire cutters. And what we're basically gonna do is kind of detach the little brim part of the hat from it. You're gonna see right there, kind of on the top left, how that's not what you want to do. What I'm doing right now is what you want to do. I do end up fixing that other one, but you basically want it to look like this, just a big triangle. And what I ended up doing on that one that doesn't have the bottom of it, I just super glued the bottom back onto it. So basically you're going to go through and cut all of these off. Now, if you can't find these witch hats, pick up the floral wire from Dollar Tree. It's super thick and you could very easily build the structure. Honestly, when I saw these, the first thing I thought of was Christmas trees. Then I thought of sailboats. And then if you actually take one of these witch hats and flip it upside down and take a pumpkin form, you got yourself an ice cream cone. And then I saw a witch hat. So that's kind of my train of thinking. So if you see these and want to make some summertime things, I would pick up some extras. So once you've cut all 4 of these down, then what we're going to do is attach them together to build our structure. To put these together, I picked up some zip ties from Dollar Tree, and all I'm going to do is basically just start connecting these where the corners kind of meet, where the little wire form meets. Does that even make sense? I really don't even know. So I'm just going to start at the base and just connect them together. I'm not pulling these tight all the way. I will not do that until I get all the zip ties on there. So basically each kind of little level of this triangle has 4 zip ties. And then the top had 2. So that's kind of what I did to secure these. So that's, I don't even know what, math is not my strong suit. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4, 20, about 22 zip ties. There you go, 22 zip ties. So I'm just gonna go through and keep doing that, and then you're gonna see the structure take shape. Once the zip ties are all on, then I'm going back through and I'm just tightening the zip ties, kind of making the little knot of the zip tie towards the inside of the structure. And then I am going to trim off all the extra tails. Alright, so for mine, I'm just going to lay my form down, and then I had a whole bunch of this brown burlap, and I'm basically just kind of cutting around the triangle shape about 1.5 inches all the way around. And then I'm just going to glue these pieces together with hot glue. I lost the clip of me doing that, but that's all I'm going to do is just glue the 4 pieces together. When I get to the last seam, I am going to wrap the fabric around the tree and then glue the seam while it's wrapped around the tree to make sure I get the fit that I want. And then once that's done, I'm ready for the lights. So here is my tree so far, and now I'm just going to take some fairy lights from Dollar Tree and just kind of wrap them loosely inside of there so that it is a lighted tree. If you want it really lit, then I would recommend using more than just 1 strand, but I'm still kind of playing around with this, trying to get the look that I want. And then once that's done, I'm just going to work on some embellishments to add to it, and then my little tree will be finished. And here it is, all finished. I can't wait to use it for all the different seasons. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you love fall DIYs. And please tag me if you decide to recreate this. I would love to see what you create. And until the next video, guys, see you then. Bye.